Well, I'm Dan, and
I'm Anne-Marie Chapple.
yeah.
And we have 4 boys. So Seth is 14, Josiah is 12, Zephan is 10, and Isaiah is 7.
We began in Mexico City 12 years ago, and then 3 years later we moved to Puebla, which is in central Mexico. We never imagined that we would be involved in a church planting or pastoral ministry. We actually discovered that we really enjoyed that, and so we did that for 3 years, and then the national leadership asked us to begin a new leadership training program. We're working with our team of missionaries in Mexico. We're working with many different pastors throughout central and northern Mexico. The majority of the pastors in Mexico do all of the work. They don't really have a concept of developing leadership in their churches, or elders or deacons or anything like that. We try to bring leaders together in the church with the pastor, and he would be the head of the little group that we teach in their local church. The idea is to equip and prepare not just the pastor, but leaders in his congregation and in his community, so that the vision can be more than just the pastor's. So the pastor is mentoring his people into leadership, and we're mentoring the pastors. Many of the students are beginning second groups and beginning to create little discipleship groups of their own in different areas, different towns and villages nearby.
So when he comes home, he's just pumped, because a lot of times he's saying, what we're teaching them, they are turning around and saying, hey, I can teach this to my neighbor. So it's exciting because they're learning very basic things, but they're passing it on as well.
The material that we're using isn't just acquiring information and knowledge, it puts feet on it. They began to visit people who were sick that were unrelated to the church. They just heard these people were in difficulty. This was one of the assignments for the material that they're studying, and they went out in twos and they visited these people. And the purpose wasn't try to convert them. It was just go visit them and pray for them and encourage them and lift them up. And the side effect often was that the people would say, well, why are you doing this? And they were able to say, I follow Jesus and I love Jesus, and this is what he would have me to do.
My role is just to be a support for Dan is doing most of the leading, I guess. And then just encouraging, I guess. I feel that's my role, in praying and encouraging.
It's difficult for me many times to sit down and counsel or relate with the pastor's wife, and Anne-Marie just is able to do that. So she's becoming more and more involved as our stage in life changes, and the children are going more to school and freeing her up to become more involved in outside of the home ministry. Every area of living in Mexico can be challenging. Just getting things done takes way longer. Paying a power bill can take a day, and so just living often takes a whole lot longer in Mexico. Mexico is not a very safe country, so many times when I've been traveling, we've had incidents. We've been chased. We've had gunshots around us. We've had buildings burned down by us. There have been times the pastors have not by us. No, not by us, but beside us is what I meant. So we've seen shootouts on the road as we're driving places. We've had roadblocks where if you don't give money to people, they'll destroy your vehicle or beat you up. So there's a lot of stress in that area. We've had pastors tell us, don't come this month. It's just too dangerous right now.
On a more personal note, I usually stay home with the boys because they have school and everything. And obviously there's the stress when he leaves. Sometimes I kind of a panic attack comes on, and I'm like, am I going to see him again? But I just give that to the Lord. That's all I can do. And so that has been something that I've had to deal with. Also, one of our boys has dyslexia, and so in Mexico there really isn't any help for that, any support. So that's been a struggle, just trying to figure out how to help him succeed. And this year was actually a really good year.
When we think about our supporters, sometimes we almost feel a little overwhelmed at their generosity, that they stand with us financially and in prayer. We couldn't be there if we didn't have people who stood with us. And so we feel very loved, very cared for, overwhelmed sometimes when we think of all of the people that make this ministry possible.
Sometimes I wish I could take every person or every group and just take them down there and just show them what's happening down there, just so that they can really catch a glimpse of what their support really means.